Hey, this is a truly bizarre story. Remember this guy, Milo Yiannopoulos? Milo Yiannopoulos was this gay British provocateur who got very involved in American politics. He was a darling of the right and he would say horrible things. And then he had a sort of, it's not so much a falling out. He had, I guess we'd call it a PR problem because he was interviewed in a show. And I want to be careful with the language I use here, where he sort of said it's kind of okay when there are relationships between he wasn't saying prepubescent kids, but he was, I believe, talking about like sort of like 12 and 13-year-olds and adult men. It was very, very strange. And he quickly was dropped by the right wing establishment. He was no longer useful to them. And he's made a couple of attempts at comebacks. One of the things he did is he became heterosexual. Now, I know that when I say that, you might be wondering, well, did he really become heterosexual? Was he never actually gay? Is it what? I don't know. I'm just telling you, he says he is now heterosexual. And I don't even have an interest in commenting on whether that's a real thing, but he claims that he is now heterosexual. And this has allowed him to some degree to at least attempt to re-enter the mainstream American political milieu. He now reportedly is Marjorie Taylor Greene's unpaid intern. This is just bizarre. It's wacky. The Washington Post reporting Milo Yiannopoulos, far-right provocateur, is a Marjorie Taylor Greene intern. Former Breitbart editor is summer intern for Marjorie Taylor Greene. He announced that he had finally been persuaded out of retirement, saying he was hired for an unpaid internship with a friend. He attached a photo of a congressional intern ID badge on top of a Louis Vuitton bag, showing he's an intern in Marjorie Taylor Greene's office. Her office didn't explain what his duties are, but she said, "So I have an intern that was raped by a priest as a young teen, was gay, has offended everyone at some point, turned his life back to Jesus and church, and changed his life. Great story." Great story. The statement was sent after the Washington Post article published. It also suggested the media should interview a colleague of hers about her trans daughter. Greene named the colleague using transphobic language. So it's a completely bizarre story, but it's not only that Milo appears to be an unpaid intern of Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene also now has a very strange podcast, and he's off camera, but he sort of seems to be like a sidekick here. This is one of the strangest stories I've seen. Here is just 30 seconds of Marjorie Taylor Greene's recent podcast episode. I believe this is from yesterday. And you hear Milo off camera, sort of her sidekick, I guess. Listen to this.
Tell us more. Tell us about California.
Well, California has advanced a bill to become a transgender sanctuary. It was introduced by Democrat Senator Scott Wiener. Why are they always called Wiener?
Why are they always called Wiener? Anthony Wiener, Scott Wiener. They all do all the Wiener. I don't think they all go together.
Now that Milo is heterosexual, he can do that type of thing, I guess. This is a new form of comedy for Milo now that he's newly heterosexual.
Some of them are wanting to get rid of the wieners. I mean, this is like the whole weenie chop thing. Can you imagine being a mother wanting to do that to your
Weenie
child?
chop. Yeah.
I can't comprehend it. I'm sorry. I'm making jokes, but it's not funny.
Yeah. Now, transphobia actually isn't new to Milo, and there is a contingent. There's a transphobic contingent of the gay community. This is just a thing that exists. It's not. I'm not personally attacking anyone. There is. You might have heard of trans exclusionary radical feminism called TERF, TERF. There's also a contingent of the gay community that is not big on that's not big on trans. That when Milo was gay, and again, I'm using the language that he uses. When Milo used to be gay, he also was transphobic. And in fact, when I interviewed Milo years ago on the show, one of the things, if I recall correctly, that we talked about, and I don't know who brought it up, were his views on feminism. I'm sorry. We know his views on feminism were his views on transgender, and it exposed his transphobia. So just all very strange. And I don't know what the next step is. Like, what's interning for Marjorie Taylor Greene? Where is that a jumping off point to? And I guess we can only wait and see if it's just a summer internship. By the way, Milo's, I think he's almost 40. I don't know, It's all very strange, but there it is. You now know everything that I know.